morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Unspoken Truth. I'm the founder of Mutual Respect and the host, Daniel, and today we welcome back a brother of the movement, a Kiwi turned Aussie who embodies the grit, heart, and courage that unite our nations. Aaron Braithwaite isn't just a guest, he's a man of conviction, a fighter for truth, and a voice for every bloke who's ever been pushed to the edge but refused to give up. He's walked through the fire, stared down the system, and come out the other side with wisdom, humility, and unshakable strength. Aaron represents everything this platform stands for: honesty, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of justice for everyday Australians. From New Zealand roots to Australian soil, his journey is one of awakening, loyalty, and leadership. It's a privilege to have him back on Unspoken Truth. Aaron, welcome back, mate.
Appreciate you, brother. What an intro.
Thank you, mate. Well, there's a lot to live up to, big fella. All right.
It's great to be on a platform like this, so thank you.
No, thanks for your time, mate. I appreciate it. Just quickly, I wanted to discuss your thoughts and opinions on this. I'm just going to read out a quick article that was sent to me this morning, mate. And it's titled Trans Rape in Women's Jail. Okay, so as shocking scandals come out of the Adelaide Women's Prison, a violent male inmate identifying as a transgender 69-year-old Leslie Graham Richards, now calls himself Krista, is accused of raping and assaulting multiple female prisoners. 6 women have come forward with serious allegations, including rape, assault, and intimidation. One victim was even hospitalised, yet instead of removing the alleged attacker, she was placed in high security while Richard remained free to walk around the women's unit. Advocates are calling it a state failure of duty of care, slamming Premier Peter Malinauskas for dismissing the issue as a niche problem, while other states moved to ban males from women's prisons. The Women's Forum Australia said it best when they said, "Women in prison have nowhere to run, their safety is in the hands of the state and the government has failed them." Another case exposing the unspoken truth. Women's rights means nothing and they can't define what a woman is, let alone even protect them behind bars, mate. What the bloody hell is going on in Australia where this is even allowed to take place, mate?
It all goes back to these fucking pathetic politicians. They cannot explain what a woman is because they're trying to appease this woke fucking mentality. It's as simple as that. It doesn't get any clearer. Like, you even ask the Prime Minister what's a woman, they cannot answer the question because they are all women have rights. It's like, no, if you've got a penis, you've got a penis. If you're a man, you're a man. It's as simple as that. Now, I disagree that there are all states are moving to ban men, biological men, out of women's prisons. I disagree. I don't think that's happening because there was a case in Victoria, same thing, where a biological male was put in a female prison, again, for sexual assault. So, yeah, there's just so much here. And at the end of the day, it's like how much public backlash needs to happen before there's any change. There needs to be a lot. And we'll just have a look at history repeats that any pushback from the public, the politicians pretty much will do whatever the masses will ask them. The thing is, it goes against an ideology as well. And the ideology is that if you identify as a woman, then you're a woman. Mm. But you look at what's happened in America when President Trump has actually put in an executive order that there are only 2 genders.
Yeah.
But look how long that took. It took years of abuse. It took years of, unhinged, mentally unstable men pretending that they're a woman to get to a point where, again, going through a lot of the abuse, going through everything that we're seeing in Australia at the moment. America went through years of that to get to a point where we had a president to put in a fucking executive order when we biologically know the reality of there's only 2 genders. I mean, do we really have to get to that point? So we've got at least another year or two before any politician or any leader has some balls and go, no, we're going to be, it's biological science.
It's fucking ludicrous to believe. I mean, this even overflows in the last Olympics. There was that male boxer that was piss weak, couldn't fight men, so he decided to identify as a woman, and then he was allowed to go and bash women and actually be given a gold medal for bashing women as a biological man. So the world has lost its common sense, hasn't it? It's just fucking ridiculous.
No one one's taking responsibility. No one wants to take that responsibility, because when you have a look at where society is at the moment, again, you have a look at the woke mentality. The left mentality is, appease everyone. Everyone's equal, equality, this whole equality bullshit. It's like, no, there's a fundamental difference between men and women. Not only physically, biologically, there's a fundamental difference. And if you can't accept that, then you missed something out in biology when you went to school.
Well, and for all these people that think there's no difference, I'd suggest they go and try and milk a bull, and we'll see what happens.
Exactly. You dig up, you put a male and a female in, when they've died, you bury them, you dig them back up 100 years' time, I don't care what you identify as, your bones are male.
Yeah.
You identify as a male. There are two genders. It's as simple as that. So, and this is where it comes that, you and I standing in that space of, no, there's a man, there's a woman. If you've got a penis and you were born a man, you're a biological man. Now, identify whatever you want. I'm not going to enter into your delusion. You identify what you want. Go off and do what you need to do. But as soon as you encroach on women's rights and you try and do and be in women's spaces, that again, a man wants to protect a female in their space. So if you want to, encroach on that space, then you'll find out about it. The problem at the moment, and I know we're going to be touching on it, is the masculinity side of it, is the problem we have is that if a man steps up and says something, he's automatically vilified and he's having a verbal attack against him.
No, you're right. And that is a good segue into the questions, mate, because and for any man that stands up to have an opinion outside the narrative, they'll come after you, won't they? They don't want us speaking our truth. But every woman should be encouraged to speak their truth, but every man should sit in the corner and keep it to himself. That's the sad truth of what they've done to this country, isn't it?
100%. And if you speak out, you're a misogynist now, you're a transphobe, you're a homophobe. It's like, no, I'm fucking not. I'm protecting women in their space. Call me a transphobe or a homophobe. I don't fucking care. Yeah. But my role is to keep a female safe.
Yeah.
That's part of my role. Now, again, you can look at the whole patriarchy thing and go, we don't have roles. Well, fuck yeah, whatever. That's your belief. It's not my belief. My belief is I've been put on this earth to protect females, to protect the vulnerable, but also stand up for truth and stand up for authenticity and stand up for what is right. Yeah. I will live that. Yeah. You have your opinion, and your opinion is your opinion. And you know what? As soon as the unhinged can no longer have a debate with you, what do? Yeah. They turn to humiliation. They turn to, again, it's all about you're transphobe, you're homophobe, you're a bigot, whatever. It's like, fuck yeah, okay, cool.
Well, we know our moral compass is set in the right direction, because a man in a dress is a man in a fucking dress, not a woman. Simple as that. All right, mate, let's jump into this and let's go. Just hit me with your brutal, honest truth, mate. So here we go. Are we witnessing a deliberate weakening of the Western world? And if so, who benefits the most?
Yes, 100% we are. There's the weakening, and it's on many fronts. And the one thing is how can the global elites keep us divided? And then you have a look at the division. The division is in our color. The division is in our sex. The division is in our religion. And there's so many divisive things. The main players obviously is who's dividing it, who's gaslighting, who's the toxic narcissists. It's the fucking politicians at the moment, because again, it's like you can't speak out and speak truth. You can't speak out against an agenda. You look at the West is being eroded, and now the new front is the Islam versus Christianity. So there's that massive front going on. And you can't speak out about it because you're a racist if you do. Yet, when you have a look at facts and you have a look at data, and I'll quickly touch on that, there was a 19-year-old girl here in Queensland in daytime, walking through Burleigh Heads. A brown man tried to sexually assault her in broad daylight. Now, when you actually have a look at the data says that a lot of the sexual assaults, a lot of the rape allegations that are coming through are from coloured people. Now, you have a look at the increase in immigration that have come in the country in the last couple of years. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to find out what's actually the correlation here. Yep. And you have a look at the people that we're importing. For them, it's normality. You have a look at the people we're importing into this country and how they treat females. It's not that fucking hard to figure out where this is going. And it all comes down to that if you import the third country, you become the third world country. It's as simple as that. So
Just touching on that, Aaron, isn't it funny how we don't hear a fucking murmur out of these feminist organisations about protecting us from immigration? My body, my
because
choice, but I don't want to upset the apple cart and talk about that side of things.
no, not at all. But you identify as a woman, we'll accept you.
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking ludicrous, mate. Brains
I
have
agree.
become optional in these day and age.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to touch on it, and I talk about it a little bit. Is that whole critical thinking perspective? It doesn't even apply nowadays. Like you're not allowed to critical think, and as soon as you critical think, you are a right, wing extremist. You're a Nazi. You're this, and I'm like, fuck. To even ask a question now is shunned upon. It's like that's where the masculinity side comes in. You should not give a fuck.
Yeah,
Like you should absolutely. Your place is to question. Your place is to question any judgment, unless you're going to bend over backwards and do whatever you're told. Look at what we experienced in the last 5 years. Look at where it's got you. Look at where we are now with the digital ID coming on board. And now everyone's like, I'm not going to do the digital ID. Well, have a look at the legislation. There is a clause in there saying that no one can force you to have a digital ID to access certain services. But they will absolutely push it just like they did 5 years ago. It's the same play. It's just a different product. So this is where, and we say it a lot, you and I, it's like this is where men have now got to step up and not give a fuck about, words. Words are going to harm you. It's like, really? Are you afraid by someone calling you a bigot? You're afraid by someone calling you a Jew head? I get that a lot. I haven't taken a steroid in my fucking life. And I have all these weak-ass fucking men going, don't talk to that junkie. It's like, don't talk to that steroid head. Like, you got no fucking idea. So I'm like, yeah, cool, bring it on. If that's your opinion of me, awesome. All it is you're projecting. You're just looking at yourself.
I face the same thing because my fucking hair doesn't grow. I'm a skinhead. But the reality is I'm a bald 45-year-old. That's it.
You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. I know. And I'm like, so this is where it's like, we men now should not give a fuck as long as you get your moral compass is where it needs to be. You're standing by your morals and you're standing by your values, and that's your truth. If you're in there, then you won't be coming from a place of harm, hurt. You're not going to be, you're not going to be an asshole. So if you come from those places and you stand in your truth, that's what we need men to be today, is to stand in your strength. Words are words, whatever, come at me, but start to question, start to have those conversations that need to be had. And I guarantee you will have someone standing there trying to scream at you, call you whatever. It's like, okay.
Well, here's the sad truth we all used to know as men. God gave us balls because he intended for us to use the fucking things.
True comment. We all need, and just go back to what the biggest, like, yes, I love it that you said I'm a Kiwi. Born and bred Kiwi. Our morals and our values are very, very similar when it comes to Australian and Kiwis, and that's why we get on so well. But my home for the last 20 to 25 years, 27 years now, has been Australia. I've built my life here. I'm still an immigrant when you kind of have a look at it.
Yeah.
But because I'm white, I'm an Aussie. It's like, no, I'm an immigrant. I've made Australia my home. Yeah. I've embraced the culture. I've embraced the values of what Australia stands for. It's mateship. It's looking after the vulnerable. It's being that strong leader in your community where people can lean on you and you are supportive. We're all there to look after our neighbor. But you look at the last 5 years, again, it's been a drip feed over the last couple of decades of the whole emasculation of men. Sit there, shut up, men don't cry, harden up. And it's like, you can't be that strong man because that's toxic masculinity. Problem is, when you beat men down and you tell them that they're not allowed to express their emotion, that's when we get to that point of silence at the moment. And we're in that point of silence. But again, you have a look at the whole mentality of soft men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. We're in that process and we're really fast moving into, and it needs to be fast. It can't be a gradual thing. Men just need to get fucking uncomfortable. We now need to stand, and it needs to feel uncomfortable. Standing in your strength and your truth, it's going to feel intimidating, but you need to be strong in that space. And the more men that do that, the quicker we can move from hard times creating strong men creating good times.
Yeah.
The faster we can go there. But the movement at the pace at the moment is that we're still at least another 2 or 3 years away before we get to a point where it's like, oh, fuck, finally, we can come out the other side. Now there's common sense.
Yeah. Well, that's a good lead into the next question, mate. Is mass immigration being used to erase our national identity and culture?
Yes.
Yep. No, I figured that. Why is masculinity under attack, in your opinion, and who fears strong men the most?
Global elites.
Yep.
Because when there's strong men, they challenge the system.
Yep. And they, as you said earlier, then they do what they're naturally born to do, and that is protect. We protect the vulnerable, we protect ladies, we protect children. And that used to be enough. That used to be enough to identify as a man.
And the interesting thing is weak men are easier to control. Now, the other thing is, if you have a look at where all the problem is, that all of a problem at the moment is a man identifying as a woman. You don't have the vice versa. You don't have the same problems with a woman identifying as a man.
No. No, that's true.
Or you do still have the same problems, just nowhere near enough.
Yeah, and mainly comes back to the biological makeup. I mean, if they ever allow a biological man to play female rugby or football, there's going to be absolute carnage. Somebody's going to get seriously fucking hurt, and then all these lefties are going to be up in arms saying, oh, but he wore a dress, No, the makeup of the biology for men and women is completely fucking different, and it doesn't matter how big of a woman you become. You're not going to be as biologically strong as a man. You're not predispositioned to ever get to that point.
Sure, there was a case in Victoria AFL where, again, a biological man played women's AFL, and it might have been over a season, it may have been a game, but there was actually a female with a head injury in that game.
Yep.
And it's like, you couldn't see this coming, but no one wanted to speak out because you were going to be labeled a transphobe. You're going to be labeled a homophobe. And it's like, really? So the safety of vulnerable females is not enough? And yet, even having the injury and having females hurt themselves in the game because of a larger, stronger man, like even then, you didn't want to speak out because you'll have a whole fucking community of deranged, wannabe women coming at you. Really?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that you want to experience? Fuck me, I'll tell you. And again, it's just that when you have a look at over the generations and the decades of where we've got to, men have just become soft. Again, it's just they have lost their balls.
They have. They really fucking have, mate. No. How do you feel that the media is shaping men into silence and compliance?
It's all propaganda.
Yep.
It's all propaganda. And if you have a look at Australia, and New Zealand's the same as well, like, my parents were brought up with the news and TV and newspaper. It's a cultural thing. You have a look at the amount of people I think prior to the scandemic, the amount of people that were listening to and abiding by and trusting the news media. It's changed a lot now because of all the lies that we were told. But again, we've still got a long way to go. And yeah, absolutely. It's all, you have a look at news media and you have a look at when it comes to their license and what they're categorized as, are categorized as entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's all propaganda. And so, yeah, it's until the critical thinking comes in, until people look at it going, oh, well, that was one side of the story. Let's look at the other side. It's always about creating division. It's getting people angry. And when you've got anger and you've got division, what did the government do? All right, well, here's a problem. We now need a solution. And what's the solution going to be, especially with everything going on with the violence? They're bringing in trackers, and with the trackers, it comes into the extra surveillance. And with the extra surveillance, it's going to come in, well, we need a digital ID so we can track these people and know where they've got to go. So there's a solution when it comes to the whole digital ID thing. So what do you have when you've got people that are in fear constantly? Good idea, let's do this.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, when we were kids, mate, remember the news used to finish on a positive story. A fireman saving a cat out of a fucking tree or something. But now you're right, it's all doom and gloom. It's all fear this and fear that, and don't think for yourself, just do as everybody else is doing.
If you do have your own thought process and do your own thing, there's another problem, because then you're outcast and you're shunned because you're not like everyone else. That's actually the best place for you to be.
Mm.
is to not be like everyone else. Like, follow your own path. We all know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Follow your own intuition. Like, start trusting yourself a little bit more. And when you can do that, and you do it more often, like it was no different to me in Victoria when they had the mask thing going on. We had our hour of daylight where we could go out and exercise. I didn't have a mask, as I did. It's like, fuck you, I'm not going to be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
The first time I walked past 6 cops, and I'm talking about 6 big cops, all in a group, I honestly expected that every one of them, even the big cop, even the female, was going to go, hey, where's your mask? Not a fucking word from them. They walked straight past me.
Yeah.
And I was literally the only person without a mask walking along that strip of street. So when you pass the test, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you have to go through that in order for you to get through the other side. And that's when courage comes in. That's when strength comes in. So you just need to test yourself more. We just need to do those things that are uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, well said, mate. Do you think that feminine empathy has been hijacked to push a destructive social agenda against men?
Well, you look at the rise of feminism.
Yeah.
Same thing. They all come down to we don't need men.
Mm.
And it's just a snowball effect of that. And it all comes down to a lot of these feminists are toxic narcissists, and they think that they're superior to men.
Yep.
Problem is, again, you emasculation of men over the decades, and what's happened, and we just don't say anything.
And like I hear from a lot of dads, though, mate, too, that after what's been done to them, especially in the family court proceedings, why would they stand up and fight to protect our country, our children, and our ladies when they've been degraded, they've been traumatized, they've been literally raped of everything they've ever built throughout their whole life? It's been taken away. And now that the enemy's actually breached the perimeter, now they're saying, where's all the good men? How come there's no men standing up for it? Well, you spent 50 years beating us down, labeling us toxic, labeling us fucking, all this bullshit labels till we shut our mouth. Now that we're in the corner, most of us, and that's the sad truth, majority of us are too fucking weak now to have an opinion because of, like you touched on, that somebody might call me something I know I'm not, but then someone else might think I am, so I'm better off just staying quiet. Well, you need to get that thought process out of your fucking head, because everybody's entitled to an opinion. Nobody makes it a fact. That's why it's called an opinion.
It's an interesting one. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of men as well that have just had enough. So fuck it. It's not like there's no point in me adding. It's like they're just absolutely done with the system, and it's like, I'm not going to contribute.
Yep.
So there's a lot of men that are in that space as well. But in order for you to feel human is being able to help someone else and get back to, feeling human, get back to feeling alive. And absolutely, what you explained with the system, with the rise of feminism, with the emasculation of men. Men have just had enough, and it's like, I don't want to even contribute.
Yeah.
But then that snowballs to another problem with the suicide rates. So that brings in that's a whole other conversation. Whereas just get back to, listen to that little voice inside you that's telling you to get up and move. If you've got kids, do it for the kids. If you've got a partner, do it for your partner. And if you're alone, then do it for your circle. And when you start doing it for your circle, then all of a sudden it becomes a community thing.
That's a valid point you just touched on there, mate, is that men used to, without a second thought process, they would do selfless acts every other day, every other minute of the day. But you're right, yeah, a lot of blokes now are like, well, fuck it, why should I bother? Why should I put myself in the firing line when you're going to turn around? I mean, we've seen this years ago. A bloke stopped to help a woman change a tyre, and then his life was completely destroyed because she was a nasty, toxic feminist that said he tried to do something that he never done. And then even when she was found to be a liar, there was no legal accountability for this woman. So they've sort of set the precedent where these women nowadays that are nasty, toxic, controlling, manipulative women are going out there deliberately looking for a man to beat down, to traumatize. And if you don't do as she says, she'll trade you in for somebody that will.
I agree. And the only way we can stop that is if more men stepped up and did the right thing.
Yep.
And not avoid it. If we are completely going through life with our blinkers on and with our head down, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's going to get a lot worse. So the moment that a man stops and puts his head up and goes, "Nah, I'm standing and my strength, it will stop. It's not going to be eradicated immediately straight away. It never ever happens. But the more men that step up and stand up, like that shit goes away.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got, well, that's the problem too, is more men have got to stand side by side. Stop. And the other moral problem that I have with all this is that I've been chewed up and spat out by the system like millions of other dads, but I use that as fuel. I see that as fire to, I now have to do my best to make sure that no other poor bastard goes through what I have. And to my thought process, that's what an Australian thinks. That's what a genuine Australian is concerned, that what you've lived you can't fix yourself, but you can damn well make sure that it doesn't happen to the next poor bastard down the road. So for all these men out there that have got an excuse that, oh, well, you know, I was fucked over, well, we're all fucked over one way or the other.
Yep.
It's how you
Yep.
bounce back. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how quick you get back on your feet. Then you can have another crack at it. So, yeah, no, well said, mate. But why do you think our schools are deliberately confusing children instead of grounding them into truth and stability about boys and girls?
Easy, more control,
Yeah.
confusion, grooming. If you confuse a kid, how do you think they're going to grow up? Look at what's happened in New York.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to look at that, I need to be saved. You know, they're going to go through life that I can't become something. You know, I can't become a self-made millionaire, or I can't become a self-made billionaire. It's like I have the world at my oyster and I can do whatever I want. But all of that's not inbred into you as a kid. So if you confuse them, and if you teach them that, you know, the life constantly owes you something, then you fall into the trap of that. You know, you look at the socialism that is going on and the communist ideological aspect, the ideology of socialism and communism. And naturally, socialism's dressed up. Communism's dressed up as socialism. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So you confuse people about who they truly are. They're going to go through life completely confused. And again, easy to control, easy to manipulate, and get to a point where it's like, you're not good enough. You're never going to be make it in life. You know, you give them a false idea of what life is, and life's going to kick you in the ass. Life's going to beat you down. And it all becomes too hard. And when it becomes too hard, you want people to save them. And when you have a government that has a socialist ideology, just like the Australian government, we will help you. We'll give you free healthcare. We'll make sure we put you on a universal basic income. Don't worry, we've got you.
Mm. Yeah, but don't ever think for yourself and don't ever question what we tell you to fucking do. Yeah, exactly right. You're right.
Yeah, and if you do question it, then we're going to be calling you a bigot and a homophobe, a misogynist, and a toxic masculinity. Like all that bullshit. And it's like, you know what? They're just fucking words. They are just fucking words.
Yeah, and what happened to the old days where it's like water off a duck's back, sticks and stones, you know? But now people get all offended.
That's the tough mentality of what Australians and Kiwis are all about. Look at what the Diggers did.
Yeah.
You know, look at what like the environment that they had to fight in, but their true courage, their true grit, and it's like, we're not going to fucking quit. We're not going to give up. Yeah. And they fought to the absolute end. And if they hadn't have done that, you know, who knows where Australia would be right now and who literally, you know, would be controlled by.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And what happens to a nation when men stop protecting their families and their faith and their beliefs?
Oh, fuck. That's a big question.
I did warn you, mate.
You did. You know what? This is probably going to piss a few people off, but we'll be like the Middle East. Sharia law.
Yep.
Let's look at that. Easy.
Yep. Well, that's the fact, isn't it? And if people can't acknowledge what's already been played out around the world and they keep hiding under a fucking rock and saying, oh, but it won't happen here, our politicians won't allow it to come in here, what you need to do is take a look at your children and your grandchildren and ask yourself the one main question, and that is your life more important than protecting their future? Because I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, and that is no. If you're a true blue Australian, if you're a genuine parent that wants the best for the fucking future generations, you will open your eyes and you'll acknowledge that this is an invasion of a parasitic ideology that has no intention to assimilate. They only want to take over. They only want to dominate. And these people don't come here to play nice. They don't come here to believe our laws or give a shit about our laws. They are here to take over. And the sooner that we wake up and realise what the fuck is going on, the sooner we've got half a chance to protect our future. Because when I get a lot of feedback online, I'm a racist bigot, and I just laugh it off. I think, wow,
Yeah.
I'm trying to protect children. Any children anywhere in this country deserve to be safeguarded, and yet I've got to argue with these fucking uninformed, brain dead, jab fucking idiots that think that, oh no, we can all just get along. No, they don't want to get along, mate.
Have a look at who the politicians are supporting. What are
Yeah.
they doing?
Yep.
Like, the massive influx of Indian immigration. It's like a lot of these people are coming from not the affluent areas. They're coming from the areas that I'm not saying slum, but they're coming from areas that are undeveloped.
Yeah.
And they're bringing that same ideology here. Again, it's not, look, I know a lot of Indians, and I know a lot of Indians that have accustomed and acclimatized to the Australian culture. Beautiful people.
Yep.
But I also know that Indians are the most racist as well. They fucking hate white people.
Yeah.
I hate anyone that is different to them. And why do you think they stick together? You're having a large voter base that you give them everything, and the Victorian government giving an Indian community $2.5 million to build, a community building. Yeah. But let's forget about your fucking, the Aussie. Let's forget about the other people that are voting you in. Let's forget about them, because they know they're going to vote. And all for them, a politician is, how can I stay in power? Who do I need to be buddy with? Or who's going to vote for me? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, well said. And that's all they care about, is catering to the masses where they get the majority of votes, because all we are numbers.
Yep.
Fucking, oh mate, it's
I just want to stay in power. Yeah.
It's a good segue into that senator the other week that called us had a crack at white people. Now,
in fucking parliament.
You transpose that comment, and a white person's in our fucking parliament and says that about brown people, there would have been a front page fucking headline. There would have been calls for a sacking. There would have been all sorts of uproar. But it's okay to target white people. You know what? Well, at the end of the day, you don't get to choose your skin color, just like you don't get to choose your fucking gender. So if they're going to play these cards, people need to be smart enough to realize that, like you touched on, it's just another avenue to divide us all. Fucking stand up, speak your truth, whether you're white, black, pink, green, or fucking purple. Well, maybe not purple. If you're not from this planet, maybe I'm not sure where you roll. But the rest of us, all us humans, we need to understand that we're being played. We are being played by these so-called elected governments that are dictating our terms. And what's coming for us, nobody can say that I didn't know. Oh, I was unaware. Because if you're not aware of the global invasion that's taken place around Western society, where the fuck have you been for the last 5 years?
Look at UK.
Yeah.
UK's lost.
Yep.
UK's been invaded. And there's a lot of stuff coming out. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are coming out that the press or the media won't touch on. Because again, the media don't want to touch on everything because it exposes the agenda. And the more people that truly know what's going on, then the more people will wake up and go, oh, fuck, hang on. What's going on? One thing I want to touch on with, and there's a couple of senators in federal parliament that do this. They divide. And it's like, you are a politician for the Australian people, yet you're using colour as a division. Yeah. And again, yeah, you're right. If it was a white person saying the same thing against a brown person, it's like they'll be suspended straight away because that's the right thing to do. It's like, but racism. But it doesn't define colour. Racism is racism. It's as simple as that. Now, my question is, where's your loyalty? Is your loyalty with your natural heritage, or is your loyalty with your adopted country? And that's an easy fucking question to answer, because it's definitely not with your adopted country. Hence, you wouldn't be calling us all colonizers, and you wouldn't be calling us, your white heritage and white supremacy shit.
You just triggered a memory there. Did you hear that same senator recently come out saying that Anzac Day needs to be abolished?
Yep.
I couldn't fucking believe, and because it didn't recognise the fallen soldiers of her Muslim brothers. Well,
correct.
Fuck off over there to the Muslim country and recognise yourself.
I'm with you.
Because in the Muslim country, I'm pretty sure they don't celebrate Anzac Day. So don't come here and demand something that you can't give from your own fucking country. That's a fucking disgraceful statement to make. And as a paid politician in our government, Jesus Christ, that really got under my skin. I thought, you disrespectful fucking cow.
Guess what's going to happen? Guess what they are going to push? Because it's all equality. We're all here. We've had, we're a multicultural society. No, we may be multicultural, but our culture is the Australian culture, our Australian beliefs, our Australian way of living. I don't give a fuck what happened overseas. All I care about is what my forefathers went through to get here. And Australia was no different. I had some of my grandfathers went to war. So I know what they had to go through to protect what New Zealand had. And we're in the same category. Yeah. We're in the same area, Australia and New Zealand. We fought next to each other for the same fucking purposes. And now all of a sudden, because we're multicultural and we need to embrace other cultures, no, fuck off. Yeah. No. You have a look at what's happening in the UK. There's a lot of people standing up. And again, I'm going to say it. A lot of it's pushed by the Israeli ideology as well. So fuck that. Get rid of that bullshit and let's get back to our morals. Let's get back to what Australia is built on and not have foreign influence. And there's just too fucking much of the foreign influence. There's too many people that have been looking at yes, we all need to get along, and yes, I need to embrace their cultures. No, and you said it before. They're not here to embrace the Australian culture. They're here to take over.
Yeah. And the sad truth, this was pointed out to me the other day. If you go to an Indian parliament, there's no Australians in there. You go to a Pakistani parliament, you're not seeing any Australian representatives there. But every single Western society now has to be inclusive from these people around the globe when their own home countries are not inclusive. And as you've touched on, some of them are almost extremely fucking racist, where you'll be targeted for your skin color or if you talk differently. Yep. So, when in Rome, act like the Romans. If you want to come to Australia, by all means, happy for you to be here if you want to become an Australian.